to my channel. My name is Tina and I'm a lawyer engaged in corporate law practice in the Philippines. So, napansin ko lately that ang daming law students na nagva-vlog, which is a really good thing. Except back then, when I was a law student, during my time. Okay, bakit ko sinabing during my time? I'm not that old, you guys. Yeah, during my time, there weren't very many resources like that. Kasi yung mga vlogs na yun, it's a good source of study habits, tips and tricks that other law students use. I figured that since I'm starting to get into vlogging as a hobby naman, bakit hindi ko kaya i-try mag-release ng law school tips, law school study techniques, bar exam, tips and tricks, ganyan. What better way to start than with these 5 law school myths? So what are those law school myths? Law school myths are those things that I used to believe about law school, but because I went na to law school, I was able to debunk those myths. Parang Mythbusters, pero law school edition. Sorry, may list ako. Wait lang. The first law school myth is that political science is the best pre-law. That is false. Bakit false? Disclaimer, I'm gonna be as candid as possible, as in no holds barred tayo dito. So, law school was the great equalizer in the sense that it didn't matter whether you were a magna cum laude from UP Political Science versus a UST Fine Arts student. Why do I have standing to say this? Because I myself was a fine arts undergrad. O ang layo, diba? Actually, anytime anyone says that, parang weird na pre-law course yun. Or like, talaga, fine arts or nursing or something, pwede na pre-law yun. And I would always say that everything is connected to the law in some way. Everything is related. And nag-agree naman sila. Going back, Pol-Sci is not the best pre-law because it doesn't matter what pre-law course you come from. Neither does it matter what school you came from. Neither does it matter na honors ka or average student ka lang. What is important is you have the required number of units. What are these units? The thing is with undergrad, you could get away with different things. You could get away with your privilege. You could get away with your money. You could get away with your illustrious last name. Pero hindi yan ubra in law school. Trust me. Especially in UP Law. Nako, everyone is on equal footing in law school. And that's actually a good thing. Kasi it's an even playing field and everyone has equal opportunity. A bulk of my batchmates were indeed political science majors or courses related to law, like legal management, business administration, ganyan. But I also had batchmates from things like nursing, molecular biology, psychology. In fact, I know one of the more recent students from UP Law, tas yung undergrad niya was dance. Ang galing, no? I think rather than discriminating against particular courses because they're not your traditional pre-law courses, it's actually a good thing that law schools have students from different backgrounds because that encourages diversity. Not just diversity within the student body, but within the law practice later on. Kasi people with different interests will lead to different specializations down the line. No regrets because I was able to dabble in both worlds. Alam niyo yun. With my undergrad, I was able to indulge my creative side. But then I went to law school, so I was able to challenge my intellectual side naman. Everyone is different in law school and that's the beauty of it. There are many different things that you can offer depending on your course. Rather than taking it as a setback or as a cause for concern, you should treat it as something to be celebrated. Your course sets you apart. I would say actually that the best pre-law courses are number 1 philosophy and number 2 English. Yun din yung sinabi sa amin ng mga professors namin in law school. Why are those courses good? Because they allow you to express yourself fluently. Sorry, medyo maingay by the way. My French bulldog, si Pancho, he's down here. Those courses are good because they allow you to express yourself eloquently. Law school kasi is taught in the Socratic method. Socratic method is verbal discourse between you and your professor. So wala masyadong quizzes and exams sa law school. Occasionally there will be like, little quizzes in between, but really mostly it's just midterms and finals. So yun nga, dahil Socratic yung method of teaching law school, it would be very helpful for you to take a pre-law course which will teach you how to successfully converse with a professor. No, I wouldn't say that pre-law courses with law subjects will give you an edge. It's true that, for example, if you're from legal management, may mga law subjects na yun eh. May obligations and contracts, my taxation. The thing is, the level of comprehension required when you were in undergrad versus the level of complexity of understanding required when you're in law school, they're both very, very different. Sa college, while you might have taken law subjects, talagang scratching the surface lang yun. Compared to in law school, wherein it's really an in-depth, comprehensive, intense kind of understanding required. It's also a reset of the things that you thought you knew in undergrad. It's a much, much deeper, much more demanding understanding. That rhymed! If you had obligations and contracts when you were undergrad, you will know the basics. But the thing is, in law school, professors don't just look for basics. They're really looking to test you on a deeper level. Kaya hindi nila itatanong yung basics. Unless super important yung basics na yun. Personally, I wouldn't worry if my pre-law course didn't have pre-law subjects. Like I said, my pre-law course was fine arts. So, diba? Perfect example. Exhibit A. I can do a separate video on my story time about why I decided to go to law school. Pero that's a subject matter for a separate video. Baka abutin tayo ng 2022 if I talk about it in this video. If you guys want to know about that, then leave a comment below. One of the summers nga after first year law, I had to take makeup subjects kasi kulang yung parang history subject ko ata sa pre-law course ko. Not a big deal. I mean, I enjoyed it naman. But you do have to think of that. You have to be prepared to take extra subjects in order to be credited towards your law degree. The second law school myth is that law school is a test of intelligence. You know, like yung impression talaga, wow, law school, talino naman. I will always maintain that law school is not actually a test of intelligence. More than it being about wits, law school is really a test of character. Test talaga siya ng grit. Test siya ng tenacity. Test siya ng determination. And I tell you, those are more important than intelligence. In law school kasi, there are so many things that are trying to beat you down. Ang dami mong kalaban sa law school. There are your readings, there are your law professors, and there's yourself. Number one, yung sandamakmak mo na readings na this thick for a week. Law students, I know you can relate. Number two, your professors na parang kontrabida sa buhay nyo. But they're not really trying to be mean. It's just that these professors are really trying to test your critical thinking. So, syempre, during your intellectual discourse, they're going to quiz you. They're going to pick apart your arguments. They're going to find loopholes in your arguments to test whether talagang na-comprehend nyo yung binabasa nyo. To test whether your understanding is just superficial or whether you truly understood the subject matter. Number three na kalaban mo dyan is yourself. Your self-doubt. And trust me, in law school, you will have many moments of self-doubt, starting on your first day of law school. Talagang may isip nyo, why am I here again? Or why am I doing this again? Lalo na pag nakikita nyo yung mga friends nyo who are the same age as you, out there earning money, getting married, moving on with their lives, and there you are just studying. Studying day in and day out. Pero I can safely say that grit talaga is what will carry you through the difficulties of law school. Marami akong kilala na nag-transfer ng law school or they repeated subjects in UP Law. I'm sure it was difficult for them at the time and maybe even a bit humiliating to add to the usual humiliation of law school. May humiliation pa of failing a subject, diba? But the thing is, they picked themselves up off the floor. They moved on with their lives. They did what they had to do, whether it was to transfer to another law school or to repeat the same subjects in UP Law, and now they're lawyers. Pare-pareho na tayong lawyers. So for people who have their eyes on the prize, yung people talaga who are determined to get that ATTY title to their name, the hardships that are flung at them, they view them as merely temporary. Yung parang, okay, may momentary hurdle or, you know, something that they have to overcome, but they have ultimately their eyes on the prize. So now that they're lawyers, they'll just look back on those failures and laugh at them. For me, mas important talaga yung strength of character in law school. Like, I always say that my greatest learning in law school, sorry, medyo cheesy, but my greatest learning in law school was the strength of the human spirit. Okay, it sounds so dramatic when I put it that way, pero talagang sometimes I look back and I say, I can't believe I did that kasi talagang humiliating experience siya. As in, common humiliation regardless of your undergrad, regardless of your reputation. Alam mo yun? If a professor wants to put you in your place, they will put you in your place. Kaya bawal din yung ego sa law school eh. Like they say, leave your ego at the door. sa kanya na lang balikan pag lawyer na kayo. There's no denying that smarts will help you. Obviously, that's a great bonus. But I'm just saying that that's not the only thing that matters. If you have smarts nga, pero wala ka namang tenacity to see things through, wala ka namang tibay ng loob, or resolve to carry on kahit sobrang hirap na, wala rin. I had a bunch of batchmates na talino nila, like cum laude, UP Diliman undergrad, but hindi nila kinaya ang law school. I guess it just wasn't for them. Ngayon, they're still not lawyers. They're doing different things with their lives. No judgment to people who didn't finish law school. I'm just saying that law school is really not for the faint of heart. You need steely resolve, like laser focus. The next law school myth is that law school is a good thing to get into if you don't know what to do with your life after you graduate from undergrad. May mga kilala akong ganito, don't deny it. That is a myth. Because law school is not for those who are unsure. Law school is probably the most difficult thing that you will do in your lifetime, coupled with the bar exam. So it's not something to take lightly. It's not a decision that you just happen to make because you're bored or just because. Trust me, those reasons will not carry you through the difficulty that is law school. Yung mga kilala ko na ganon, like I said, I'm gonna be as candid as possible ha. They didn't make it through law school. They dropped out midway. They decided they wanted to just do other things with their lives. If you don't have that reason, then you're going to find it hard to justify to yourself why you're undergoing that hardship, humiliation, sleepless nights in the first place. Parang, you don't have a reason for doing that because you're not sure if you really want it in the first place. So if you're unsure about law school, I would advise against it. Honestly, your self-worth is not determined on whether or not you stay in law school or whether or not you become a lawyer. Trust me, you will get humiliated in law school. It's inevitable. Like, even the brightest of students have experienced it, and I'm sure that they felt that they're not good enough. It's hard. It's hard. And 4 long years of that like constant struggle, it does take its toll on you mentally, physically, emotionally. So to endure law school, you have to be committed. You have to want to become a lawyer so badly that you're willing to forego other aspects of your life in order to attain it. I'm not saying that you have to have decided by the time you were 3 years old that you wanted to be a lawyer. Wait, that's ridiculous. What I'm saying is that you have to have decided at some point in time that you are going to stay in law school and that you are going to do whatever it takes to become a lawyer. That's the thing that will make you cling on eh. That's the thing that will see you through. Pag sobrang hirap ka na, you have that reason. You have that goal. And the problem is, if you're in law school because you don't know what to do with your life after grad, or pinapag-law school kayo ng parents nyo, it's not a real reason. It's not that hunger to become a lawyer that will really tide you over pag sobrang hirap ka na. So no, law school, it's not a good thing to get into just because you don't know what to do with your life after grad. There's so many other things you can do. I mean, no shame in getting a job and not becoming a lawyer. It's a commitment. It's a lifestyle for 4 years of constant study, constant worry, constant anxiety. So you should only go for it if you really want it. The next law school myth is that you need to get into one of the top law schools in order to be a successful lawyer or in order to pass the bar exam. That is totally a myth because law school really depends on yourself. I always say that law school is a very solitary practice kasi in law school you really have to learn to be alone. You have to learn to be able to study alone, to be able to quiz yourself alone, to be able to get confidence from within yourself alone. It's really self-study, honestly. No amount of group studies will help you when you're standing in front of the professor trying to give that professor what he or she wants to hear. I'm personally sure that you don't need to be from one of the top law schools to be a successful lawyer or to pass the bar. Kasi nung nag-bar review ako, I took my bar review in Baste, San Sebastian College, which is where I would say like siguro mga 80% of UP Law went to bar review in Baste. So when I went there, I really met law students from all walks of life, all different schools, may Baguio, Cordilleras, Samar. We came from different law schools, of course. And the thing is, nag-aral lang sila, we studied the same material, and they passed. And I was really happy for them. It's so easy to fall into the trap of comparing law schools. Yung parang, this school's better than this one, or this passing rate is higher, so I'll go here. Pero ultimately, it rests with the law student talaga to determine their success. If you want it, you'll get it. You'll do whatever it takes. So, back to my friends from different law schools nung bar review. So yun, they passed. And the bar that they passed, the bar that I passed also, was the second most difficult bar exam in Philippine history in terms of passing rate. So thank you talaga, Lord, na nakapasa ako doon. My gosh. I won't deny, of course, that there are some perks that come with being from a top law school. Like, for example, top 3 law schools. For example, there are some firms that hire from only the top 2 law schools, UP and Ateneo. The top law schools, they enjoy better funding from their faculty and more support from their student body. But I'm just saying that it's not the only thing that matters. If you're fixated on it, if you're determined enough, nothing external will matter like school. You really just have to study. Talagang yun eh. Talagang you have to study. You have to put in the work. All law students across the Philippines read pretty much the same thing, just different variations. Bar examiners will test you on the same thing, on the same material. So it's really a matter of what you put in here. It doesn't matter what school you go to put it in here. What matters is that you put it in here. Law school isn't taught in the sense na, di ba, pag elementary or high school or even college, nagtuturo talaga yung prof eh. This is blah blah blah, A plus B equals C. Alam mo yun? But in law school, it's self-taught. The teacher is standing in front of you, not to tell you this. The teacher is standing in front of you to test whether what you studied, whether what you taught yourself, you truly understood. The teacher is only there to test the level of your comprehension. And it doesn't matter what school they do it in. The last law school myth is that law school is a crapload of exams. Yan, akala ko din yun dati na parang wow, law school, puro exams yan. Siguro ang haba ng mga exams dyan. But no, not at all. Law school is taught via Socratic method. And Socratic method, it's named after Socrates, who taught his students via intellectual discourse. So talagang nag-uusap kayo ng professor. That actually sounds terrifying to someone who's not particularly good at public speaking. But I managed to get through it. At the start, mahihiya ka pa eh, na oh my gosh, napahiya ako in front of my new classmates, na oh my gosh, napahiya ako in front of all these people. But eventually, kakapal na lang yung balat mo. Kakapal rin yung face mo. Everyone goes through that. Trust me guys, everyone in law school, even the most brilliant of students, will get stumped by what their professor asks them. And the good thing is, because everyone experiences that same collective humiliation, after a few months, hindi ka na mahihiya. Personally, I hate public speaking, which is why I don't think I did very well during recitation in law school. Pero bumabawi naman ako sa exams. That's the good thing. If you're not good at recitation, may exams naman dyan to pull up your grades. Conversely, there were also people who were bad at exams but good at recit. So it balanced itself out. I remember my first day in UP Law, we had mock recit and everyone was terrified. You could hear a pin drop talaga. Everyone was waiting. Everyone was anxious. Actually, that's usually the case before any class in law school. Everyone's on edge kasi ayaw nilang matawag. Everyone is dreading, just dreading for their class card to be picked up. Ganun yun sa Socratic method is you have your names written on recitation cards, on class cards, and then the professor shuffles it, damning suspense, and then your professor eventually picks a class card and that person will be called on to recite. The amount of people to be called during a particular class depends on your professor. When I was in law school, there were some professors who would call students like 20 times in a semester. Tapos may iba naman who would call students just once. May ibang prof pa nga na hindi nakakatawag ng some students during the semester. So, galing sa exam na lang talaga yung grade ng student. It really varies from professor to professor. But, generally, 95% teach via the Socratic method. If you're scared of public speaking, don't let that hinder you from going to law school if you really want it. Kasi, I really don't like public speaking, guys. But in law school, you really learn to get over yourself. Promise. You learn to get over your fears of public speaking, your anxieties about standing in a room full of people who are waiting to hear what you're going to say. Because in law school, you're trying to survive. You're trying to get your point to the professor. You're trying to answer their question as succinctly as possible while trying to recall what you read. Alam mo yun? So, ang daming pressure talaga that eventually you just have to forget the fact that you hate speaking in front of all these people and learn to zone out and just focus on what the professor is asking you. And you know what? Since magiging close kayo ng class nyo, there are things that are called radyo and dyaryo. I'm not sure if law students now know this, but radyo and dyaryo both refer to methods wherein your classmates help you out. Yung dyaryo, yung they will write the answer on a paper while your professor is asking you, and pakonti-konti nilang isa-slide yan so that you will be able to see the answer. And then there's radyo, wherein someone is whispering, like legitimately whispering the answer to you. Law students, then they find ways to really help each other out, which I loved about my law school in particular. Kasi walang crab. Law school is hellish enough as it is. We don't need to make it any more difficult for each other. Law school is a crazy experience. Talagang roller coaster ride. Roller coaster ng pababa. It was an unforgettable experience. It will be the most difficult thing that you will ever do with your life again, aside from bar review, but it will also be the most rewarding. Would I say that law school was worth the hellfire? Yes, absolutely. If you want it, guys, go get it. Go get that ATTY. Good luck to all the law students out there. So that's really it. I hope that this helped explain away some misconceptions about law school. If you have any questions for me or any requested videos, just please leave them down in the comment bar below. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell below if you want to be notified of my future videos. Wow, I'm actually getting better at this vlogging thing. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!